The market right now is staying pretty much the same for the past month or so. At least we settled around 90k and don't go down too much. Thing is though, when it comes to altcoins, there is slight recovery happening, but overall, we're still down quite a lot. That's why it's always nice when you have money within crypto that isn't too much affected by a token price, that has some additional utility, functions, and can benefit you in a more passive way long term, because then you simply buy it once and you get the benefit. And today we're going to talk about FIRE token, which is as simple as it says over here. Hold and stake FIRE for Bitcoin rewards. That's it. They launched about a year ago, also listed on CoinMarketCap over here. Obviously, with a lower market cap, things are a bit more volatile. At the very top, about 2.8 cents, now back down to about 1.1, can be bought on PancakeSwap. I'll show you how to later on. Now, what do they do? They're here to reimagine Bitcoin mining. When you want to get into mining, you have a couple different options. You either have a mining as a service provider, for which you simply pay somebody else for their computing power and then get a share of the rewards. You mine yourself, so you have your own farm, you have your own setup, your own room full of miners, which is a significantly bigger upfront investment. You can join a couple communities where that price is shared, or in this case, you can buy the token on the Binance Smart Chain. So let's say you have a couple BNB left over, and you don't really want to get into memes or any other altcoins. You could get into the FIRE token, stake that, which then means you become eligible to earn Bitcoin mining rewards, as 50% of all the rewards are allocated towards FIRE token holders and the other 50% to FIRE NFT holders, meaning it's a 50-50 split for those two. Normally buying and operating equipment on a smaller scale is hard and not worth it, for which I can say, trust me, I looked into how to get like 10 or 20 graphic cards and build those rigs and all that. I think like the cheapest upfront investment is like 10 to 15k, and then you have something that doesn't generate that much when it comes to hash rate and all that. And if you eventually want to sell it, well, that's also a different story than simply swapping tokens. So it's their goal to have a decentralized and inclusive ecosystem where anyone, regardless of their technical expertise or resources, can participate in Bitcoin mining. And while I personally, when it just comes to tokens, hold like about 70% just in Bitcoin alone, it would be cool to have an even more diversified portfolio in the future where you not just have a certain percentage in Bitcoin and a couple layer one chains and there's some alts here and there, but also some in gold, some in stocks, maybe eventually some real estate, some mining. It gives you another way to participate in crypto without being too much exposed. Now, pretty simple. If a certain amount of Bitcoin is rewarded to all the holders of the FIRE token, let's say with the example over here, 1.5 million of the tokens are staked and your amount staked is 20,000. So you have a bit more than 1% of all the tokens, like 1.3. You would then also get an equal amount in percent from the rewarded Bitcoin. And the example over here, 0.12 out of the 10.58. Obviously, that's not the exact math here, as one FIRE token is about 1 cent right now. And $220 for about 10,000 in rewards would be really nice to have, maybe eventually, just to illustrate the point. Now, they had a pre-sale for their FIRE token, I think about January of this year. That's when they started. But since then, as it also shows on CoinMarketCap, they are listed over here on PancakeSwap. I will have this one linked down below in case it doesn't show up or you're on PancakeSwap and you want to swap into it, but the token doesn't show up. You simply head over here and then you can see under contracts the BNB address. Make sure that you are on the Binance Smart Chain for your network. Go on here, paste it, and it will then show up as FIRE down there. Should also be verified and active, just in case the link doesn't work or it's not automatically placed down here to swap into. Of course, depending on the size of your order, you might need to adjust the slippage percentage. So let's say it's set to automatic and it's 0.5% and it doesn't go through. Try 1%, try 2%, something to keep in mind for that. On the DApp itself, it's also very simple to navigate, which you can see how much in Bitcoin has been rewarded. So far about $18,000, $19,000 at the current price. When you stake your tokens, those are locked or even extended for 20 days. So in 3 weeks, you could withdraw them, you could unstake them and then do whatever you like, or you can claim your rewards, which will then be sent to you. Now, the nice thing about that is, which we can also actively see in the Telegram, is that Levi Crypto is active on that. They keep on making polls for the community so you can decide and vote on what should be done. How should the buy and sell taxes be allocated? Electricity costs, liquidity, marketing, new miners. And it's something that grows slowly but steadily, in which there's also voted, should some of the money be spent just on miners or also on miners and buying back, burning some tokens, making it deflationary over time. So, you know, smaller coin, smaller community, but another option to get into Bitcoin mining without having the insane upfront cost of, I have to buy like 10 graphics cards, I have to let this run 24/7, have to pay for electricity, then calculate if that makes sense. This one is as simple as get some tokens, stake them, get rewards. So like 3 steps. Obviously, not financial advice, and you never know. When it comes to Bitcoin itself, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a day in the next year, maybe even in the next couple of weeks or months, in which out of nowhere, we're not just seeing a regular candle where it goes from, let's say, 90k to 95, and we are pretty happy about like a 5-6% gain. But I think we're going to see a day in which Bitcoin out of nowhere gets like $500 billion invested into it, and it goes up by like 40,000. Reason being, I assume almost all the Bitcoin that is in reserve and held by exchanges, I think that is being sold to pretty large players and governance and other types of reserves, ETFs, all of that, in a single transaction. As in, if I send you Bitcoin directly, it doesn't reflect in the charts. As it's not being bought and sold, with some percentages on top of that, it's simply sent from A to B. And I think lots of that is being bought up right now, without us knowing, and then out of nowhere there will be some sort of supply shock, which makes number go up. And when number goes up, if you get, let's say, $100 in mining rewards, and that turns into $150 worth of Bitcoin, you got 50% on the mining rewards. Now again, Telegram is free to join as well. Feel free to join there first, talk a little, ask them. Links down below, and I see you in the next video. Take care.